Hello friends, my name's Emile and welcome back to some more Forza Motorsport 6. Today we are going to be doing a race build of the Holden Commodore Group A SV. Yeah, I think I got that right. Anyways, so this car launched in the December car pack, and this was one I was kind of curious on. When I first saw it in the car pack, I wasn't hugely excited by it. In fact, I believe I called it a Vauxhall Cavalier in my DLC video. However, some people have educated me in the comment sections about this car, and I have done some research on it myself. And to be honest with you, I actually think this is kind of a cool car. I really kind of like it. So I figured I would take this car and do a racing build on it. Now, I did try and do one before. Commentary wasn't very good. So I think I'm going to redo it. Let's start by taking a look at the engine swaps. Now, the stock engine in this car is a 5-litre V8 Holden unit. Now, it's actually quite interesting because this engine is sort of built to go racing. So it's got lots of, tough, heavy-duty parts on it, and so on and so forth. Of course, it is an 80s V8, which means it only produces 241 horsepower. But it's not a bad engine. So what else can we swap in this? We can swap a 2.6-litre inline-six twin-turbo from a Nissan Skyline R32, which actually isn't quite as crazy as it sounds, because this car, not this particular model, however, the Holden Commodore, when it was this particular generation, used Nissan engines. There was a 2-litre and a 3-litre available. So actually swapping a Nissan engine into this car isn't the craziest thing in the world. We also have a 5.7-litre V8 out of a Ford Mustang and a 5.9-litre V8 racing engine, which apparently this car will do 240 miles an hour with that in it. I think I'm going to keep the stock engine in it. I'd want to play around with the stock engine on this, and I also want to give it a supercharger. I could four-wheel drive swap it. I'm not going to. As far as this build goes, I'm not really sure what class I want to build this to. I was thinking maybe like C class, potentially. It's just deciding what to put on it. I think we're going to go for the big tyres, 285s on the rear, and 245s on the front. So that's pretty decent. We will have street tyres. I don't think I've ever built a car with street tyres before, but we'll go for them on this build. I do want to kind of make this sort of like a street legal race car, if that makes any sense. So usually with these race builds, I'll put all the race bits on and so on and so forth. This car, I think I'm just going to use like sport parts and so on and so forth. Try and get this to sort of be a kind of street legal racing car, I guess. So I don't know, like a track day car maybe. Do we need rigidity? I'm not sure. It does increase the weight by a lot, so we'll probably leave it out. This car's actually surprisingly lightweight. 3,100 pounds for a four-door saloon car isn't actually that bad. I mean, I think the Nissan R32 actually weighs about the same as this. We're going to go and get a sports exhaust on, because of course you can't have a street legal racing car without a sports exhaust. And we will also get a street air filter, and maybe upgrade the pistons. Seem like a little bit of a what's the word, a big upgrade. How about intercooler though? Could have an okay, 296 horsepower. That's actually a decent amount. What else do we want in this car? Should we? No, we can't get a racing clutch in. Can we get a? We can get a sport driveline in it. Okay. So that is the Holden Commodore built up. Let's just go and do some quick fettling, see if we can actually do anything to this car. So my dream. Oh, that gearbox though. Let's bring that in. 5.5 seconds to 60, 167 mile an hour top speed. That's pretty decent. So yeah, there we go. Anyways, that is our street legal Holden racing build done. So of course we need to take this to a street circuit. What sort of, actually, I don't know. What sort of circuit do we take this to? We could play with Rio. Now, I haven't actually driven Rio that much in this game. We'll do the national circuit because it looks kind of cool. Just make sure the AI are, yep, they're on the correct difficulty settings. That's fine. Okay, excellent. Let's go and race. just decided to shuffle myself in a little bit then. Turn the microphone off to shuffle a bit. Anyways, predictions with this car, I'm not really sure. I mean, it's a C-Class car, so it shouldn't be too bad. If it is terrible handling, then it should be reasonably controllable. I do have to admit, me personally, I've been driving the Koenigsegg 1.1 basically exclusively since this DLC came out, so yeah, this it could be interesting. I also have to say that I can't remember what I was going to say actually. Good sound. I was going to say something, I can't remember. Let's see how this car does. Now, we have got some kind of street racy cars. We've got some Evos and Pretzers, and so on and so forth. Going to try not to crash into them. Probably will end up crashing into them, because it's me. We've got Mercedes G-Class up there as well. Don't want to get on the wrong side of that, so we sort of want to quickly overtake that as fast as possible. There is a Vauxhall Carlton up there, which is actually kind of interesting, because this car is related to the Vauxhall Senator, which I'm fairly certain got replaced by the Opel Omega, which is, I believe that was a Cavalier. So me actually calling this a Cavalier in yesterday's video actually wasn't that far off, which is very cool. Actually, I can't, it might have been a Carlton, I'm not sure. Either way, this actually isn't too far away from what we would call a Vauxhall here in the UK. But there you go. Anyways, I know people on this channel seem to like Holdens, so that's another reason I figured I'd take this one for a spin. We did have a Holden Tirana go round before. That was a full-on racing car. We actually got that to go up against I just hit a priceless Aston Martin as well. I believe we got that to go up against a proper V8 supercar on Bathurst. I could have done the same with this car, however, I felt like I would much rather make this sort of like a street legal racer, because it's got that look about it. You know, I know this was a homologation special and whatnot, but it has got the wide body kit on it. I can imagine this being a sort of a street racy car, I guess, so yeah, that's why I've decided to go ahead and make this a sort of street legal race car. So yeah, anyway, we're coming up on a Skyline R32, which is actually, again, another decent rival for this car, considering it did use Nissan engines. Now, I did record this before I tried the R32 engine swap. It's actually pretty good with the R32 engine in it, it has to be said. The other reason I kind of decided to delete that video is because A, I rambled on a bit, and B, I had the AI set up a bit wrong. They were on a slightly easier difficulty setting than they are now, so I ended up winning that race. So I can't run races, you know this, you know, I can't do that. So we decided to put the difficulty down on this one, breaking through here. I've got to say, I'm not a fan of the Rio track, I'm really not. This one isn't terrible. It's... ooh, Christ, Audi. Very, very nearly smashed into that. That was very, very close, actually. The Skyline kind of took a bit of the Audi with it, apparently. But yeah, pretty decent car, actually. I may as well sort of discuss this car a little bit. It seems decent enough. It seems better than the last build I did on this car. To be honest with you, you know, when you go from the faster cars to the sort of not so fast cars, it's actually kind of hard to review a C-Class car if you're coming out of a P-Class car, because you're, you know, as much as you shouldn't be, your brain's kind of comparing it to the car that you've just driven, which is sort of why with the review videos I'll usually, you know, drive the first car, you know, the first bit of footage you'll see for, say, I don't know, when I did the Evo versus Subaru. We did do a couple of practice runs in both the Evo and the Subaru. Is he going in the pits? Okay, kind of interesting. Speaking of kind of interesting, we're actually on the tail of a Chevy SS, which is very, very similar to this car. Can we get him on the inside, outside? Outside, yeah, that's what I'm on. Yes we can. Yeah, this is a damn decent handling car, apparently. It is really good. What is that? What is that in the distance? Oh, it's a BMW Z8. Interesting car. I do have to admit, I kind of like the BMW Z8. It's a very funky looking car, but it is kind of a cool one. It's kind of like, I like the BMW Z1 as well. I find that a very cool car. I wish they'd give us that in a DLC pack. That'd be awesome. Speaking of DLC cars, thanks to this pack, Top Gear Laps this week, it will be DLC, or next week, sorry, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to work this. Anyways, it's going to be DLC cars. Because the last pack was actually decent, and it's actually given me quite a few road cars to throw around the track. This is one of them that will be going around, along with some others. I've tried to pick the cars that stand the most chance around our test track. The issue with the previous car packs is when there's been road cars, which there isn't very many of, but when there have been road cars, they've been kind of older, slower road cars. So I figured I would try and take sort of the fastest and the most interesting, at least to me, DLC cars. So that was my idea with what I've picked. Hopefully you guys should enjoy it. It should be a pretty good episode. Decent variety of cars and so on and so forth. Nothing that's going to challenge for the top spot, which, well... You'll find more out about the top spot out tomorrow, provided everything goes to plan. This should go out on Thursday. I'm recording this on Wednesday. Should go out on Thursday, and then on Friday I will get a review of a certain car, and most of you will probably know what that certain car is. But there you go. Anyways, that was the Holden Commodore. I almost got it a Vauxhall Senator then. Overall, pretty decent car actually. Nice to drive, and it sounds very, very nice, and it looks cool as well, even though I did smash the backlight on it. Anyways, I want to thank you all very much for watching. My name has been the Real Emile. Until next time, farewell.